Right now, she's not thinking about you. And that stings, doesn't it? The silence, the distance, it's like you never even existed in her world. You check your phone, nothing. No missed calls, no messages, just that empty screen staring back at you. You wonder, does she ever think about me the way I think about her? And the worst part, she seems perfectly fine, like you never mattered at all. It's frustrating, it's painful, and maybe right now you feel powerless, like you're stuck in this endless loop of waiting, hoping, and wondering. But what if I told you that powerless feeling, it's not the end, it's the beginning, because the very thing making you feel invisible right now is actually the key to making her miss you. Not by chasing, not by begging, not by proving your worth, but by becoming something far more powerful. A presence so unforgettable that even when you're gone, you still linger in her mind. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to shift from being forgotten to becoming her sweetest nightmare. The man she can't stop thinking about, no matter how hard she tries. All right, let's get into it. Number 1, be a man of purpose. A man without direction is easily forgotten. It's harsh, but true. If your world revolves around her, if she's the center of your thoughts, your actions, your emotions, she won't admire you. She won't feel drawn to you. She'll grow tired of you. Because women don't crave a man who worships them. They crave the man who challenges them. The man who sparks something deeper, something that lingers long after he's gone. The man who keeps her up at night, staring at the ceiling, asking herself, why can't I stop thinking about him? Now think about the men who leave that kind of mark, the ones who linger in a woman's mind. It's never the guy who floods her phone with messages, or the one who bends over backward trying to impress her. It's the man who's scarce, not because he's playing hard to get, but because he's too busy building something greater than her validation. That's the power of purpose. See, when a man's life is driven by ambition, when he's locked in on his goals, his presence carries a certain weight. He doesn't need to chase, because he's already moving forward. And that's magnetic. Marcus Aurelius didn't write Meditations to impress anyone. He wrote it to sharpen his mind, to stay grounded, to maintain clarity in a world full of chaos. That's the kind of presence that sticks. The kind of presence that makes people, including her, feel something when you walk into a room. A man with purpose is like a puzzle, fascinating yet frustrating, because she can't quite figure him out. She admires him, yet resents the fact that she can't fully possess him. And here's the twist. The moment she realizes she isn't your top priority is the moment she starts craving that place in your life. Because the mind resists what it cannot control. When she senses that your attention is a privilege, not a guarantee, she won't take it for granted. She'll start to analyze your silences, replay your conversations, and wonder, why isn't he chasing me like the others? That's when the shift happens. You're no longer the man seeking her approval. You're the man she can't stop thinking about. Number 2, master the power of presence. Most men go through life half awake, physically there, but mentally absent. They sit across from her at dinner, scrolling their phones, nodding along to the conversation, but not really listening, and that's exactly why they're forgettable. But a man who's fully engaged, unforgettable. He doesn't just fill the room, he commands it. Not with arrogance or noise, but with focus, with calm intensity, with the kind of presence that makes people stop and take notice. When he speaks, his words carry weight. When he listens, his attention is undivided. Like nothing else in the world matters. But that moment, that conversation, that person in front of him. And that's powerful, because most people, men and women alike, are starved for genuine connection. They're used to half-hearted nods, empty replies, and distracted minds. But when you break that pattern, when you lock in, listen deeply, and respond with intention, you create something rare, something magnetic. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most men exist in their heads, overthinking, doubting, hesitating. They worry about what to say next, afraid to say the wrong thing. But the man who masters presence, he silences that noise. He isn't thinking about what to text her later, or what impression he's making, or whether she likes him. He's here, in the moment, in control, grounded in his own energy. And when you bring that level of presence to her, when you look her in the eyes, fully engaged, fully alive, she feels it. She feels seen. She feels like she matters. And then, when you're gone, she feels that too. Your absence becomes impossible to ignore. She replays your conversations in her mind, searching for clues about what made you so different. She wonders when she'll hear from you again. She questions why your energy still lingers. That's when you become her sweetest nightmare. Not because you're chasing, not because you're desperate for her attention, but because your presence refuses to fade. While most men scatter their energy, trying too hard, being too available, you understand something they don't. Your presence is valuable, and when you give it fully, then step back, you leave her with something rare, something she won't forget. Number 3, be unpredictable. If she can predict your every move, if she knows exactly what you'll say, how you'll react, and what your next step will be, you lose your edge. And once she's figured you out, the mystery fades. But when you're a man of layers, calm one moment, playful the next, you become someone she can't quite define. And that's what keeps her hooked. Not by playing games, not by pretending to be someone you're not, but by embracing the fact that you are many things at once. Sometimes you're steady, composed, thoughtful, and grounded. The man who listens deeply and speaks with intention. Other times, you're unpredictable. A storm of charm, wit, and passion that leaves her laughing, smiling, and wondering, who is this guy? That contrast, that rhythm of calm and fire, is what lingers. Think about the last person who truly captivated you. It wasn't the one who laid their cards on the table from day one. It was the one who made you curious, the one who felt like a puzzle, intriguing, layered, impossible to fully grasp. That's the energy you need to embody. One evening, you're holding her gaze like she's the only woman in the world. Calm, steady, unshaken. The next, you're immersed in your own world, focused on your passions, your purpose, leaving her wondering what's on his mind. Why does he seem so content without me? That's when she starts asking questions, not out loud, but in her mind. Why doesn't he text me first? Why can't I quite figure him out? What is it about him that makes him feel so different? And that's the moment you shift from being just another guy to becoming the one she can't shake. Because once she starts chasing answers about you, she's already chasing you. So don't rush to reveal everything. Let her wonder. Let her feel the tension. Be warm, but not too predictable. Be present, but never too available. Because when she feels like there's always more to uncover, when she senses that you're a man she can't quite define, you become impossible to forget. And that's when you turn into her sweetest nightmare, the thought she just can't escape. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I encourage you to click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on today's topic. If you enjoy the content, please comment 1 below. If it doesn't resonate with you, leave a 0. Your feedback is crucial as it helps me create better videos that align with your interests. Number 4. Confidence without arrogance. Not the loud, chest-puffing kind. Not the guy who brags or tries too hard to prove himself. That's not confidence, that's insecurity in disguise. Real confidence is quiet. It's calm. It's the unshakable belief that you are enough without anyone else's approval. Because the truth is, a man with a fragile ego will crumble the moment things don't go his way. If her opinion dictates your mood, if her silence makes you anxious or her rejection makes you doubt yourself, you've already lost. But a man who's grounded, a man who knows his worth and moves with quiet certainty, that man is rare. Marcus Aurelius understood this. As emperor of Rome, he faced constant praise and constant criticism. But every day he reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He didn't let flattery inflate his ego, and he didn't let insults shake his focus. What mattered was his own principles, the standards he set for himself. And that's the kind of presence that lingers. When you stop seeking approval, when you stop reacting to every shift in her mood, something powerful happens. She starts to notice, she starts to wonder, why isn't he chasing like the others? Why doesn't he flinch when I pull away? Why does he seem untouchable? And that's what stays with her. The fact that she can't control you. See, most men either crumble at rejection or overcompensate with arrogance. But when you master quiet confidence, when you hold steady no matter what, you become something far more powerful. A presence she can't ignore. You're calm when she's emotional. You're composed when others would panic. You don't beg. You don't explain yourself. You don't need to, because you know exactly who you are, and you don't need her to confirm it. That's what makes her stop and think. That's what makes her replay your reactions, your silence, your stillness, and ask herself, why is he so different? And that's when she realizes, you're not like the others. You're not chasing her. You're the man she can't stop thinking about, her sweetest nightmare. Not because you tried to impress her, but because you never had to. Number 5. Lead without asking for permission. If you want to be the man who commands respect, the man she can't stop thinking about, you must learn to lead without asking for permission. Because here's the truth. Weak men seek approval. Strong men move with conviction. Would a king ask permission to rule his kingdom? Would a warrior pause mid-battle to check if his enemies approve of his next move? No. Power doesn't come from hesitation. It comes from certainty. And women feel that. See, when a man second-guesses himself, when he hesitates before making a decision, she senses it instantly. And in that moment, something shifts. She stops seeing you as the man she has to have and starts seeing you as just another option. But a man who leads with quiet certainty, that man becomes unforgettable. It's not about controlling her. It's about controlling yourself. It's about trusting your own instincts and having the courage to move forward, even if no one else sees the path yet. Imagine this. You're on a date. She asks, "Where should we go?" The hesitant man says, I don't know, whatever you want." The confident man says, "I know a great spot, let's go." Notice the difference? It's not about arrogance. It's not about dominating. It's about being decisive, because that decisiveness shows her something important. You trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, she'll feel safe trusting you too. The strongest leaders, whether in relationships, careers, or life, don't waste time waiting for approval. They move forward with quiet confidence, knowing that hesitation breeds doubt, but certainty creates attraction. And the twist here's, when you stop looking for her green light, when you stop asking, "Is this okay?" before every move, something powerful happens. She starts following your lead. Not because you forced her, but because your presence, your conviction, and your steady energy make her want to follow. That's what leaves an imprint. That's what makes her think about you when you're gone. Because a man who leads without hesitation, a man who walks his path with purpose, doesn't just capture her attention. He becomes impossible to forget. He becomes her sweetest nightmare, the one man who never doubted his own steps, and the one man she can't stop wondering about. Number 6, let her feel the risk of losing you. Here's a hard truth. The moment she feels like she has you completely, the spark begins to fade. Not because she's cruel, not because she doesn't care, but because when something feels too certain, too secure, it no longer excites the mind. That's human nature. When you're always available, when you answer every text in seconds, when you drop everything the moment she calls, you might think you're showing dedication. But to her, it doesn't feel like devotion, it feels like desperation. And desperation never leaves an impression. But when you create space, when you show her that your world doesn't revolve around her, that's when something powerful happens. She starts to wonder, what's he doing right now? Why isn't he thinking about me? Why doesn't he need me the way others do? And just like that, she's thinking about you. Not because you chased her. Not because you begged for her attention, but because you showed her that your life, your purpose, is too big to shrink down and fit inside her hands. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Let that sink in. The man who doesn't need is the man who holds all the power. When you want nothing, when you aren't chasing approval or clinging to her affection, you become unshakable. And that unshakable presence, that's what will haunt her most. See, most men make the mistake of thinking that love is about more attention, more affection, more availability. But what really stirs desire isn't constant presence. It's absence, the right kind of absence. The absence that creates space, the space that allows her to miss you. When you're always there, always texting, always checking in, she never has the chance to feel your absence. But when you step back, when you go quiet, when you live your life fully without constantly reaching for her, she starts to notice that silence. It's no longer just quiet, it's loud. And in that silence, her mind starts to race. Why hasn't he called? Did I lose him? Is he slipping away? That's when your presence becomes something valuable. Not because you're playing games, but because you've made her realize that being close to you isn't something she's entitled to, it's something she has to earn. This isn't about manipulation, it's about self-respect. If she stops showing up for you, if she starts taking your presence for granted, you don't argue, you don't plead, you simply step back. Not out of spite, but out of principle. Because your time, your energy, your presence is valuable. And if she can't see that, you'll walk away without hesitation. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." And what's braver than knowing you can walk away, even from what you desire, if it no longer aligns with your values? That's real power. That's what makes her feel your absence like a whisper she can't escape. The memory of your presence becomes a shadow that lingers in her thoughts, something she didn't realize she wanted so badly, until she felt the risk of losing it. And that's how you become her sweetest nightmare. Number 7. The extraordinary lingers. Here's something most men never understand. Being good enough won't make you unforgettable. Being kind, being reliable, being present, those are basic expectations. But being extraordinary, that's what makes you impossible to forget. An extraordinary man doesn't just occupy space, he leaves a mark. He carries himself with a presence that lingers long after he's gone. Not because he's loud, not because he demands attention, but because his energy, his focus, his discipline, his purpose is felt. You see, ordinary men are obvious. You meet them and you know exactly what you're getting. Predictable, safe, easy to define. And because they're predictable, they're forgettable. But an extraordinary man, he's different. He doesn't reveal himself all at once. He unfolds, layer by layer, always leaving just enough mystery to keep her wondering. He's the man who says little, but whose words carry weight. The man who stands calmly in a room full of noise, yet somehow draws every eye. The man whose silence is more powerful than another man's shouting. That's the kind of presence that lingers. Think about it. Have you ever caught a scent in the air? Something faint yet familiar, and suddenly it pulls you back to a memory you can't quite place? That's the effect an extraordinary man has. He doesn't need to chase, he doesn't need to convince, because even when he's not around, she still feels him. And that's the power of self-mastery. When you move through life with purpose, when you build a life so rich and fulfilling that you don't need her attention, she feels the difference. Because you aren't like the others, scrambling for her validation, bending to her moods, desperate to please. No, you're the man who is centered, focused on something greater than her approval. And that's what sets you apart. Most men show up, hoping to be chosen. An extraordinary man shows up, knowing he's enough, whether she chooses him or not. That's what makes you unforgettable. She won't remember the guy who was always available. She won't remember the guy who texted her good morning every single day without fail. But she will remember the man who had the courage to walk away when she took him for granted. The man who was fully present when he was with her and completely gone when he wasn't. That's what lingers. That's what haunts her in the quiet moments. The moments she didn't expect to be thinking about you, yet somehow there you are. A whisper in the back of her mind, a shadow she can't quite shake. Not because you begged for her attention, but because you carried yourself with such quiet strength that your absence felt louder than another man's presence. The ordinary man fades. The extraordinary man lingers. So be that man. Build a life that's rich in meaning. Walk with calm conviction. Live with purpose. And when you do, even in your silence, even in your absence, she'll still feel you. And that's how you become her sweetest nightmare. The secret isn't in games or mind tricks. It's in becoming a man who's whole without her. A man who walks with purpose, carries himself with quiet strength, and refuses to let anyone, not her, not the world, define his worth. You become her sweetest nightmare by being the one man she can't quite figure out. The presence that lingers in her thoughts long after you've left the room. The storm that shook her, and the calm that left her wondering. She won't forget you, because you're not just another man, you're the one that got under her skin. The one who made her feel something deeper, something she can't explain. So ask yourself, which of these principles speaks to you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, or just leave the words "quiet confidence is power." Stay strong, stay focused, and always remember, real power comes from within. Thanks for being with Stoic Heart on this journey today. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos. See you in the next video.